Hello, welcome back to our channel. We want to thank everyone for sending us text messages talking about how they have been enjoying our videos and getting benefit. But please, you can also leave comments with questions in the videos and we will respond to the questions. And the comments help other people know that you're getting benefit. And also for those of you...
It also spreads the video around.
The message,
if there's more comments on it, then more people can benefit from it.
So, and we're going to continue to put little videos together on different topics. So if you subscribe to the videos, I think if you hit the bell, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure if you hit the bell, then you will get notifications when we put new videos out. And
That's what that means.
That's what it means. And we really appreciate everyone who has given us a donation to support our work and done sessions with us, because we really rely on you guys. And you can't even know how much we appreciate everything that and all the support that everyone is giving us. And we continuously pray for everyone who does support us, that you will be benefited in your life and you will have blessings and abundance come to you. We're going to talk about true friends.
We pray for people who actually listen to the video and do your work.
Do your work. Yeah, that's right. We're putting these videos out so that you have support to continue your growth. And so it is up to you to implement the things that we're talking about, and that's very important. So we're going to talk about true friends.
One of our beloved teachers, Paramahansa Yogananda, apparently just released a book about true friendship, and we have not read it yet, but I know that it draws upon the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna was talking to Arjuna about true friendship, and he goes very deep into detail about what a true friend is. So we're excited to read that book soon when we have free time.
And I'd say the best book I read about being a true friend is Don Miguel Ruiz, The Mastery of Love and the Four Agreements, because if you implement and do what he talks about in those books.
And deeply contemplate it. Don't just read it and say, oh, I agree with that. That was nice.
Yeah. When I started doing what he talked about in those books, I became a true friend to myself. And so sourcing from your own connection and from your own self-worth, because you are a divine being, is what it takes to be a true friend. So you have to develop that in yourself first of all, and then that will allow you to attract people into your life or change the relationships that are currently in your life to being something that is more aligned with the truth of what we are, which is we are love.
So let's talk about the qualities.
Qualities.
And we're going to just kind of weave in there some things that are contradictory to being a true friend as we talk about the qualities. We were having a conversation. Well, first of all, I want to say that for anybody removing what's in the way of love, your definition of what a true friend is going to go through a big transformation as you learn more about yourself and as you heal your own suffering. So I think about where I am on my path, and I would say that a true friend is somebody who, many lineages talk about this, but the easiest one that people might be more familiar with is the three jewels. Buddha, Sangha, Dharma is a Buddhist teaching. So a Sangha is your community, your friends. And a Sangha means that somebody takes refuge in the Buddha and
the teachings
of Dharma, which means the willingness to see your own suffering, your own mind confusion. So for me, that's a baseline standard. I love everybody, but if I'm going to spend my time with a particular person, whether that's a client or, family or friends, it's not going to run as smoothly if the person's in deep denial about their suffering. That's going to create a lot of chaos. It's going to make it really hard for things to flow and for us to align. So as a baseline, if my potential friend doesn't value themselves enough to do Dharma, to be a Sangha person, to look at their own suffering, then we're not going to be aligned. There's going to be great confusion and stuckness and no way to move forward, because you have to be a true friend to yourself. And to do that, you have to remove what's in the way of the love that is everyone's true nature. So our job is to be transparent about our suffering, and then the taking refuge in the Buddha or God or Jesus or the Divine Mother or whatever you want to call it. Taking refuge means my mind is attached to this, so it's not the one clever enough to let this go. My job is to be transparent about it, but I have to take refuge in that infinite divine conscious force of love and ask it and offer and surrender until the job is done, and be super transparent when it's not done, and look at myself and ask the divine, show me how to release this, because my mind is holding it and my mind is caught in a pattern and it's attached to it. But my job is to look at it. The more I do that, the more I become a true friend to myself, the more I understand the nature of love within myself, and then I can see that in others. And that creates flow and alignment in friendship. So if that process of somebody being a member of your Sangha means they take refuge and they're willing to look at their suffering. So that's a baseline.
And when you do this work, you will grow, and true friends will support your spiritual growth and your interpersonal development, because they want the best for you. So they don't blame you as somebody who's changing. They actually embrace and support your change. And one of the heartbreaking things that happens when you go on this journey and you start to heal yourself is you recognize that your friendships are not what you thought they were, and some of those friendships end up having to go away. And it is very sad, and you do feel a lot of grief about that when it happens. But when I started doing this work, I had a whole group of people around me that I realized they relied on me to prop up certain attitudes and beliefs they had about themselves. And when I started to heal and not be such a chaotic person as I had been, they started to become very uncomfortable with me, because I was talking about things that they didn't want to hear about, or that they didn't want to grow or change. And then that's when I had to just recognize that I needed to just back off and just let them go on their own journey.
You can do that with loving acceptance. You don't have to be overly enthusiastic and force other people to be on a path. But the level of honesty that you can have in a relationship is very, very foundational to meeting other people that do want to grow as a human being into what you truly are.
So you're looking for people who support your growth, who think in a very loving, positive way towards you. They don't blame you for problems that they're having. They allow you to express yourself without judgment. I mean, that's how I recognized Persia when I started talking with her when we first met, is that I was talking about these stories I had about healing, and she didn't judge any of it. In fact, she was probably the only person I knew at that time that didn't have a judgment about what I was trying to do and work on myself. And because her compassion was coming through, I recognized that this person was a true friend. And that is, again, a rare quality in a human being, but there are people like that. And the more we dismantle and the more we get rid of our false beliefs, we're going to become more open to attracting those types of people into our life. And so we're looking for people who are embracing of our spiritual growth and change. They're open to what we're talking about, open-minded and not judgmental. And they always are seeing the best in us and wanting us to grow and succeed. They're not envious or jealous. They don't talk about us behind our back. They have a very positive, loving attitude towards us, and they're always interested in us growing and being better people. And that, again, goes back to Sangha. They're people aligned with your spiritual journey, and they themselves are working on their own growth, and they themselves are inspired by your desire to heal and your desire to become a better human being and a more spiritual being. And that is something that they appreciate and embrace, because they themselves are on that same journey. Now, not that you can't be around people who aren't on that journey, but then you have to be more reserved and practice better boundaries and not.
Because your change and growth is going to, even if you don't say anything, can end up being a spotlight, even if you don't intend that, but just your energy is going to be a spotlight on the parts of themselves that they're resistant to, and they can get in an emotional state frequently and be combative because your change threatens their lack of readiness to change. And that just means they're suffering. You can have immense compassion for it, but you have to be a lot more distant and quiet to, and depending on how negative they get, maybe walk away completely. So it's going to put an immense limit and strain on the friendship, but you can have loving compassion and you can be quiet and not interfere. But like Grace is saying, you have to have a better boundary in that situation. You have to be really skilled at boundaries.
So we're looking for people who are loyal, but not loyal to our personality or our identity. They're loyal to the light and the divine love within us. And so that loyalty is them seeing the best in you. But, as we grow and change, we make mistakes. And so they're also loyal to the light in you, allowing you to make a mistake, not judging you for it, but they'll bring it up.
Without being combative or forceful.
That's right. So
being very humble and simple.
So that the connection can maintain and grow. But it's working out a growth process between two people, and it takes immense courage, and it also takes
immense
a lot of
love and respect.
Respect and compassion. So you're looking for the respect, the compassion, the non-judgmentalness, and somebody who's really willing to listen to you without putting their own story on it, which means they're not going to blame you for anything, or they're not going to try to change your mind about something. But it's a working out of the relationship in a respectful, loving way, where both people take responsibility for their side of what is going on. And again, it's a rare quality, but it does exist. And it's our job to continuously look for and let God bring those types of people into our life to help us continue to grow and develop better connections.
So, not duplicitous, envious, or jealous. Loyal. We talked about having good boundaries. Transparency. Like, there has to be truthfulness in a friendship. Absolutely.
If there's no truth, there's no trust. So you can't trust somebody who is telling a story, making up lies, not being honest. So that's really one of the indicators that person is not capable or ready to be a true friend. And it's okay to take a step back from that person. But you're looking for people who are always truthful, always honest.
They want the best for you, and they show it through their actions.
Yeah.
They always support you. They celebrate the good in your life. They're there and they're present. And
they're there when you're having a tough time too. Like, you can rely on them, they can rely on you. We had many relationships in our old past life where we were, generous caretakers, but when we needed the help and support, the people weren't there. So we, again, another heartbreaking situations that happen when that's like God showing you these people aren't people that are supporting you, because they're only there when you're able to give them something, and they're not there if they don't get anything from you. And that, we call that being transactional, which is when you are transactional, or when someone is transactional, they need you to give them the energy to help prop up or help them feel self-worth, or prevent them from feeling like a loneliness or looking at themselves. But that's a role, and you don't want to be in that role and play that role for somebody. You want somebody who is self-responsible and working on their own self-worth without taking energy from you. And when someone takes energy from you, after an interaction with them, you'll feel drained. And that's an indication. But when we have relationships and connections with especially because we're in a relationship and married, and it's very beautiful, but other people who are around, we're never drained by them, because we're practicing good boundaries, we're practicing and understanding where they're at, and we're not giving energy to feed something in them that is not appropriate. So we just know how to keep our energy to ourselves.
we don't even try to, even with clients, we don't try to change them. Our clients are highly motivated to self-responsibility, and that's the only reason we agree to work with them. And in fact, we sometimes get dream warnings telling us not to work with people because those people aren't receptive to change. Even with clients, they have to choose their own growth, and they have to be willing to talk about their suffering. And if they don't, we have deep respect. Don't fix it if it isn't broken, you know, like,
Leave them alone.
leave them alone with great respect for where that person's journey is and what they need to experience. Sometimes even, you know, like clients especially want to send us somebody they're interested in dating or they're in a new relationship with. And we're like, do they want to change? Because don't send them to us. If they don't, we're going to end up getting a warning from the divine telling us not to work with them. So, you know, if we don't even try to delude ourselves with our clients in that regard. You can never force somebody to change who's not interested in change. So, you know, even deeper with friendships with somebody that you're inviting into your life in a trusting way, that's not going to work. So, I also, do you want to say anything else?
I think the
I want
last-
to talk about what it means to be transactional with a little bit more detail.
I think the last thing I'll say is that, you know, how I grew up in my family, there was a lot of passive aggressive energy. And so I learned from a very young age to roll my eyes constantly about everything that was coming at me. And I was, as we were thinking about doing this talk, I was saying to Persia, I was like, I don't think I've rolled my eyes in like 5, maybe 6 years.
He's never rolled his eyes to me, but what did I say when you said that?
I think, I don't remember, you said it's been a while, and I was thinking about
No,
it.
I
I was
said, do you want to give it a try?
like, yeah, you should try rolling your eyes. And I was like, I don't think I can even do it anymore. Because I worked on myself and healed myself. And so even if someone is coming at me with a negative energy or stories or things that are not
Don't
true,
take it personal.
I'm like, okay, I just have compassion for that person. I don't have to have a passive aggressive response.
We don't have to convince anyone of anything, ever.
So let that sink in. I haven't rolled my eyes at Persia ever.
Never,
And
not once.
we've been married now for 10 years, and we've gone
11.
11 years, and we've had challenges and gone through a lot of stuff, but we've never taken it out on each other or been, not responsible for ourselves and the energy
We've
that we
never
hold.
had a power struggle.
Yeah, never had a power struggle. Take that in.
Not once.
Yeah.
I want to say one last thing about what it means to be transactional, because
It's called a hungry ghost in Buddhism.
yeah, the hungry ghost is a perfect example, but essentially this means that there's a place inside of us where we've abandoned ourselves, and when we do that to protect ourselves from pain, we end up feeling closed off and protected so intensely and unconsciously that we actually don't just close the pain, we close the ability to take in love. And we feel unworthy of love when we're that protective and closed off. And when you feel unworthy of love, you start seeking it externally, not just from people, but from achievements. Like, love doesn't come from any achievement. There's nothing you have to achieve to be worthy of love.
Or addictions is the most obvious way.
Or addictions, the negative side of it. Achievements are the celebrated side of it. But addictions are also a desire to fill in. That the hungry ghost means that no matter how much nourishment you take in, it does not feed you. There's an emptiness going from in the esoteric images of the hungry ghost. There's actually a hole from the mouth all the way down to the stomach and the whole intestinal body of a hungry ghost, because no matter how much nourishment, which is divine love and your true nature, you can't take it in because you don't recognize it inside of yourself. You've shut it off. So the hungry ghost goes on this great expedition out in the world to try to get it and fill it. And every time you fail to fill it, because it just keeps going into emptiness and depleting you, it reinforces the shame. And it's this feedback loop that doesn't end. So recognizing the hungry ghost is actually a universal experience for everyone, because we've all taken on pain. So many years ago, we looked at that inside of ourselves, decades ago, and we saw, oh, I'm not taking in love because I don't feel love inside of me. And I recognize that I'm trying to fill it through the expectations I have from somebody else, and they're never going to fill that. So if I see that pattern and I ask the divine to guide me, and I take refuge in the Buddha or the divine, whatever words you have, but you take refuge. I'm the one seeing this thing in me, trying to get it. And people who are still operating from the hungry ghost are going to try to get that emptiness filled from anyone they're in relationship with. It's just going to be trying to get rid of the aloneness, to get rid of being present with the vulnerability and pain. That is not a person who is in that Sangha mode of operation, which is the community. They can't be honest in community because they're not home inside themselves. They haven't been honest with their own pain and hurt, and they feel so absent from love. So what we train and coach, we don't really coach, but what we train people in this universal teaching of how to overcome this is just to give a recognition. I'm not feeling connected to love, and I recognize something inside of me has closed myself off to protect myself, and I take refuge and ask the divine to guide me step by step on dismantling that closed energy so I can recognize the love as my true nature. The love of the divine within me is who I truly am, and if I don't feel it, I have to recognize it and ask to feel it. And I have to see the ways that I've been trying to get it outside of myself. So that's what transactional means. It doesn't mean your friendships can't provide great joy for you. Being joyful isn't transactional. Helping people because it makes you joyful is not transactional. Seeing others' delight and growth and benefit is a loving action. Trying to fill our own lack of nourishment by using other people in multitudes of ways is getting it externally. And so that's a deep healing that is a big commitment, and we're wired to heal it. We completely are, because it is what we are, and it's our purpose to be in the knowledge of our true nature as that love. And there's immense support if you call out for it. So a true friend is somebody who recognizes that they have to open their heart, and they are deeply honest, and they are not trying to use other people.
So I think this has been a longer video, so we'll wrap it up here. We'll probably talk some more about this topic because it's very good. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll post another video soon. Thank you.
Thank you.